find us on the web at mbradio.us.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
Hey, let's go! Get in here! Let's go! Get in here right now! Get in here! Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! That's our plan on the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody and we're taking down the field for a touchdown. I guarantee you that. Guarantee. Look at me. Let's go. We got 30 minutes. Let's go. For the rest of our lives. For the rest of our lives. Let's go. Let's go. Lock on. Hey. Hey. Lock on. Lock on. Hey. Put your heart on the table. We got it.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a new iteration of the Wednesday Sports Show. I'm a solo act for now. This is the Final Timeout with me, your host, HG. It'd be a little odd, man, without my right-hand man, Caveman, but he's off in Louisiana.
You know, I said I could help, but,
you know,
I'm not exactly the greatest sports person.
You're all good, H-Train. I appreciate you just being here. Well, it's been a crazy playoffs thus far, and I've been gone for a while, haven't been able to break it down for everyone, but we're going to get into that today. And I think I want to start with the NHL today, if that's all right for everybody watching at home. We're going to start over there. So when we left off, man, we had just gotten into really the second round and some fantastic series there. My Colorado Avalanche with a come from behind victory in game 5 against the Wild. The Golden Knights taking care of business in 6 against the Ducks. The Hurricanes got a lot of time off with a sweep over the Flyers, and the Canadians with another 7-game series that they had to come out of, and they take down the Buffalo Sabres, who were one of the better stories we had in the NHL this year. But then we get on to round 2, and I got to just rip the Band-Aid off. We got to just get into it. The Colorado Avalanche versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And this series is unfortunately over. Avs getting swept. And another year of great regular season success and just not getting it done in the playoffs, or honestly just going out in a very disappointing way in the postseason. You know, first you had after the Stanley Cup run in 22, there was a first round exit against the Seattle Kraken. We had another series against the Vegas Golden Knights where they lost 4 straight after going up 2-0. There was the disappointing series against Dallas last year where they led for a large portion of that series and then dropped it. And it's definitely calling into some questions about Jared Bednar and the coach, because again, this was just such a good team. I mean, they were really, really stacked, just top to bottom roster wise. And here we have them just going out. I mean, really just, it was sad. To recap this series, you know, game 1 back on the 20th, the Knights take that 4-2, come into Ball Arena and really just took it to the Avs there late in that game. No Cale Makar for game 1 or 2, which, I mean, you can maybe use that as an excuse, but you know, Vegas missing one of their best wings and Mark Stone those 2 games. So I mean, it kind of balanced out in that sense, and still Didn't get any better in game 2 as the Golden Knights take down the Avs 3-1. Game 3 looked promising, like maybe there was a shot to turn the series around as a 3-0 jumped out to a 3-0 lead, was up 3-1 going into the end of the first intermission. And then it all just fell apart, or they were 3-0 actually, rather, at the end of the first period. And they let Vegas come and tie it back up in the second. I mean, this whole series, and this game was, I think, really the pinnacle of that, was the Avalanche looking really good when they had the puck in the offensive zone, and they were like really dominant. Looked like the offense was playing well, the defense was doing really good, and then just as the game goes on, you got about halfway through the second period, getting all out of sorts. They just weren't as good applying pressure when they had the puck in the offensive zone. They were bad getting back on defense. I mean, like Wedgwood kind of struggled in this series, but the defense certainly didn't do him any favors. I mean, Vegas got a couple of good like breakaway opportunities, and it's just really inopportune times where, I mean, I think there was like an empty net goal in basically every game of this series. You had obviously McKinnon getting hurt didn't help, but Avs just couldn't convert on their opportunities. I got to give Carter Hart, the goalie of the Vegas Golden Knights, a ton of credit. This man was absolutely nails in this series. I mean, he never gave up more than 3 goals in a game. And if we will, I mean, we're going to go on a little journey, just game by game, with what Carter Hart did. So we're going to start in game 1. Guy was out of his mind. 32 shots on goal and 36 saves from him. I mean, and the defense of the Golden Knights too. I mean, tons of deflections and just getting in the way of the puck, forcing tough shots, all of that. They were just, I mean, fantastic defensively, and Hart was a big part of that. This guy saw a lot of pressure. So in game 1, the 36 saves officially listed for him. Game 2, same thing. I mean, 30 saves, only 1 goal allowed on 31 shot attempts. So just, again, like he's seeing a lot of action and a lot of pressure, and he just never relented. He's been, I don't know, maybe if you ask me, I think nobody's been better in this postseason overall than Carter Hart. You know, there were a couple of games where, yeah, things got a little crazy for him, but he started every game this postseason, and he's been a big reason why the Golden Knights are on to the Stanley Cup, waiting to play either the Montreal Canadiens or the Carolina Hurricanes. And we're going to go to game 3 because, again, just the Carter Hart play, again, just still blowing my mind. I like this guy, 32 save attempts in this one off of 35 shots on goal. I mean, to get off to like the really difficult start that he had, you know, there was a short-handed goal in there from Jack Drury that he gave up. I mean, the guy just did not relent this entire series. And you got to give him his props. He was fantastic. I think he's one of the biggest reasons that the Avs just kind of fell apart late. I mean, they just seemed a lot like lose their confidence throughout the game. And I think a big part of that is just a mental factor of, you know, like you're getting all these good shot attempts on goal and all this pressure, and that the defense just, and the goaltending was just phenomenal and erasing so many good opportunities. You just kind of get down on yourself. And I mean, that really just game 4, that's when it all kind of came out. It was, they just looked really defeated in this one. I can't lie. Mark Stone got the early goal in the first period. Cole Smith got one 14 minutes into the third. Landeskog made it a 1-2 game, but that was about all the action from the Avs. I mean, again, this team just looked like they were dejected really in this one, and not the type of fight you were hoping to see. I mean, still some good moments from them, I think, in this one overall, when you've got like a really talented team, but Vegas winning the faceoffs. Only getting one power play opportunity in this. All the giveaways that they had, it was just, felt like the aggression from a team facing elimination wasn't there, which is something I would have really liked to see out of the Avalanche. And they just didn't have that fight in them. So pretty disappointing way for this season to end for a really good team. I look ahead to what they're going to do in the off season, and I wonder, does 4 years in a row where it just feels like they go out on a pretty unimpressive fashion in the postseason. Does Jared Bednar get fired? I think you look at how the Nuggets season ended and how the Avs season goes, and it was just 2 playoff meltdowns, which is, to me, it's a mental toughness issue, which is a culture issue. And you got Josh Kroenke, who is the head of like culture operations, something like that. Some almost made up sounding title, but his job title does have culture in it. And both of these teams look like culture problems where they just weren't able to be tough enough to get it done in the postseason. I know that the Vegas Golden Knights, I mean, they give them their flowers. I mean, they've been really great. I mean, the Mammoth really came out in their series against them and played them super tough to start. You had a number of really close games with a bunch of goals on either side, including game 5 was a double overtime 5-4 thriller, and then to go and close that series out with a pretty dominant and just strong game 6 to get a 5-1 victory, move on to the second round. And again, it was, I mean, they got the earlier series too. They got tested against a very young, scrappy Anaheim team. Got up. They only were able to win 1 game at home. Anaheim stole one there on the road, but they're losing 3-1 at home. You go into Anaheim and get a 6-2 victory to really rebound. The Ducks answered back, made it 4-3, but then you go another overtime victory in game 5 of this series, and then again another 5-1 closeout, and then in this one to just really in every game really see a ton of pressure early in this game and a lot of activity, and to not really have a lot of puck control early. I mean, they dig in on their heels. They got behind their defense, and I mean, they were just in total control. It felt like at the end of every game. I flash back to game 3. McKinnon's obviously, a little bit injured with the taking the puck to the knee. But you're down by 1 point. The Avalanche get a power play opportunity. And I mean, they were just so rattled by Vegas that they spent a minute of a power play opportunity basically stuck in the neutral zone. Crazy impressive run here for Vegas. I give them a lot of props here. Disappointed that in my Avalanche, but the Golden Knights, are going to really be a problem for whoever comes out of here, out of the East. But should be a fantastic series regardless of who wins this. But it's going to be a team that's probably going to have to win 6, maybe 7 games to come away in this series. Montreal Canadiens, who have just been absolutely battle tested. If we take a look back at how they've gone through this this postseason compared to Carolina, back-to-back sweeps. Take care of the Senators in 4, took care of the Flyers in 4. Montreal's been through a gauntlet. First, you get, somebody who I thought could legitimately be a Stanley Cup contender in the Tampa Bay Lightning. A very fantastic team. A lot of veteran experience. They're just a squad that's seen a lot of success. They've been in these big moments. And almost this series, you could really tell these were 2 fantastically evenly matched teams. The very first 3 games all going to overtime. Not a single game in that entire series was decided by more than 1 goal. It was 1-point victories for every team that won it. So, just about the most evenly matched series you could have gotten. And I think that we haven't had in this entire postseason. And then the top, come out of that, and then you got to go into a 7-game series with a incredibly youthful but hungry Buffalo Sabres team. And you go in there, you have some pretty impressive dominant wins on them, early on. It looks like you maybe take control, 5-1 victory in Buffalo. Your first home game, you get a 6-2 victory. Then you have a pretty rough collapse at home, though, in Game 6. You lose 8-3. So now you got to go back to Buffalo to close it out and to get an gritty overtime win on the road there and bring it home or get the victory and move on to the East Finals. Montreal has been a very fun team to watch this postseason, and they have really overcome a lot. But now they've got really the biggest test with, I think most people would say it was probably the best team overall in the East, a very experienced and talented, just all around Carolina Hurricanes team. But coming off a lot of rest in Game 1, got a bit of a shocker on them, I'll say. Montreal with a 6-2 just trouncing of the Hurricanes. And there was 4 goals in that first period. And yeah, I think this was, I will say, the rust for Carolina definitely looked like it was there. This was definitely the fastest team that had to play all season. And you spent it was 12 days not playing. And so you just have this like fast pace, high flying team. And it was just a lot of, they just really looked like they were out of it and we're out of sorts. Excuse me. They got off to a 1-0 lead, then Montreal just exploded. I look at, the defense was, I think they weren't used to, or the rust. You weren't used to seeing that much speed on defense. 29 blocked shots by the Canadiens in Game 1 was insane. Despite that, way more hits from Carolina, but didn't really matter. It did not slow down the Habs at all. There was a lot of different people getting involved. Cole Caulfield got the scoring open for them. You had Philip Denault getting in on it. Texier, Demidov, all rounding out your first period goals. Then in the third to just shut him out, and then two goals by Juraj Slavkovsky was really good as well. I gotta say, rough first game for Frederic Anderson. Guy definitely struggled. 5 goals on 21 shot attempts. That's a pretty bad save percentage for the postseason here. And then another guy that want to give some credit to, Dobe has just been really good for the Canadians. I mean, there have been some games where he's had some struggles. Obviously, gave up 8 goals in that game against Buffalo. Actually, he did end up getting pulled in that one, but yeah, got pulled. But I think in like the biggest games that they've had, the closeout games, I mean, he's really been nails for him. So, I mean, one guy that you're just really able to ride for most of the postseason can be just a huge thing because I mean, I saw that with the Avs. I mean, like they brought Blackwood in for game 4, but it just didn't. He played good, but it just at that point it didn't really make a difference. And maybe that should have been he should have been gone too sooner. But it's just really when you can just rely on one guy going out there every game and holding it down for you for the most part. It's been crucial. Now Carolina kind of got punched in the mouth in game 1. But game 2, they responded really well. This was a gritty overtime victory. A 6-2 game. Last one, this was a real grinded out 3-2 matchup. Again, Carolina just dominating in the hits though, 46-16. I mean, they're looking to hit you every opportunity that they got. Neither team again really getting anything out of the power play for the most part in this one. This one, Carolina's defense much better and taking much better shot attempts where Montreal wasn't able to get a bunch of blocks. 20-19, they've edged them out in that category there. And this was pretty back and forth game here. So Eric Robinson opens it up again, or with his second goal of this series. I believe his goal was in the second period of game 1. But he opens it up in this one, about 2:33 in. But then Josh Anderson, they respond for Montreal 11 minutes in. Then you've got Nicolas Ehlers getting the lone goal of period 2 after what had been just super defensive and I hate to sound like a broken record, but they got grinded out second period. With neither team getting a whole lot of scoring opportunities, he came through and converted there. But Anderson comes in and gets his second goal about 12:51 into the third period, ties this thing up. And so, we're going to overtime. And at this point, you can feel like, maybe Carolina fans getting a little anxious. You had the lead for a good chunk of this one. Looking to maybe go down 2-0 after having both your games at home. Things were looking a little scary for him, but pretty early into this, Ehlers gets his second goal of the game. Assist from Janikowski and Chatfield about three and a half minutes into the overtime period, puts it away, sends it home. And again, not like the best game for Anderson, because when you're 10 of 12, that's if they had gotten more shot attempts, you feel like he would have given up more, because that's right around 83% of the about stopping getting a save 83% of the time. It's such a small sample size isn't great, but the defense just overall for the Hurricanes rather fantastic. Just a lot. Forcing a lot of shots to go wide, the deflections, guys, not taking, a difficult shot because they're just lacking the confidence. They're not really seeing it go towards the net. So they're opting to pass it. So it's just like all those little things that really made the lives easier on their goaltender. And I think Dobish was pretty good in this one, despite giving up the 3 goals. Had 23-26 is still pretty solid there. He just didn't get as much help from his from the defense on as Anderson did. It's going to happen though. So Canes take a 3-2 victory, even the series back up. And then they got to head into Montreal for game 3. And man, they go ahead and do the exact same thing. Come in here and get a big road win to reclaim home ice in this series. And ironically, this is probably when Montreal really started hitting back the most in this series. 37 hits for them in this one. I mean, nearly double what they've had the past two. Had the past 2 games. And then they even got a power play goal in this one. You had a lot more blocked shots for Montreal. I mean, their defense was really ramping up. They were trying to give their goalie a little more help in this one, getting those deflections. They had, but the real problem for them in this was just all the takeaways that Carolina got in this one. But the summary of this, you had Gorstenberg getting his first goal of the series. Then Matheson evening it back up just for Taylor Hall to reclaim the lead for Carolina. Lane Hudson scored for the Canadians there in the second period. But then we were just deadlocked for the longest time. No scoring in the third. And we honestly went a pretty long time when we got to overtime before there was any scoring. Yeah, both teams really playing with a lot of intensity and just, yeah, it was just all of that defensive pressure and intensity, man. That nobody was getting a good shot attempts or looks. Things were, a lot of things just going wide of the net. But eventually, Andrei Shevneshkov got the goal with 14 minutes into the overtime period, and they get a massive victory for the Hurricanes, reclaiming home ice in this series. I think absolutely for them to have a good chance on this, they wanted to come out of Montreal at least 1-1. So maybe they get another victory tonight and can come back home and close it out. We will see. But yeah, absolutely huge for the Hurricanes to reclaim their home ice in this series. So right now, Vegas sitting back and watching what's going to be a really good series between these two teams. You definitely tell Carolina shook the rust off that they've had in game 1, and they've played a much tougher brand of hockey, and they've just looked more like the team we saw all regular season, the one that won 53 games. They've been themselves again, the team that swept the first 2 rounds. Sometimes that rust versus rust, it comes into play here. And my worry as the series goes forward, I'm going to go with the Hurricanes in 6. I think they're going to go ahead and close this out. The Canadians have just had some brutal series, 7-game series. Where it's just been, these guys have had to just play their absolute tails off. And I just worry about how and if they'll be able to sustain against a much fresher Hurricanes team that's super deep. And right now Montreal's playing them tight, but like the past 2 games, like it's been Carolina getting it really done when it matters the most. And that's just, to me, it's showing that like I'm worried Montreal's running out of gas. I mean, this has been an incredible postseason run for them, but I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain this run that they've been going on. So that's my prediction for the closeout of this series. I think we're going to have ourselves a Golden Knights versus Hurricanes Stanley Cup final. Let me know what you guys think of that, and if you're excited for a matchup like that, or if you think the Canadians will be able to rally and go ahead and win another long series, man. I mean, part of me that's a hater just thinks it's hilarious that a Canadian team can't get the cup. It's been, almost 30 years since one's won it. But might have been more. Was it 94? That was maybe 96. So somewhere in that time frame, the last time a Canadian team won the cup. And so I do think it's funny that they can't win the cup and that it would be two more American teams squaring off. But I don't know, man, just part of me is also rooting for the story of Montreal. I mean, just going on this incredible run, playing all these long series and getting it done. Like, it's just a real testament to the competitive spirit of these guys. I won't be upset either way, but I do really think Carolina, it's got the fresher bodies, hasn't been as ravaged this postseason. I mean, they dominated the first two rounds, and after shaking off the rust from a long wait, are looking much better and much more in control and clutch when it matters the most. All righty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick little music break here. Stretch my legs and get ourselves ready for a breakdown of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Station, giving our veterans a voice. You're watching Military Broadcast Radio.
On the front lines we stand side by side, with courage and strength that we won't let slide. Through the chaos, our hearts beat as one. Each brother's a soldier, into battle we run. When the shots ring out, we won't back down. In the silence of loss, we'll wear our crown. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury, we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the dead. Each step we take through the mud and the pain, memories linger like the echoes of rain. We fight for the fallen, our spirit won't break. In honor we carry their names in our wake. Though the cost is high, our bonds grow tight. In the darkest of hours we'll shine our light. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the day. With every heartbeat, we carry their name. In the brotherhood forged, we'll never be the same.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by WorkSimple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy HG. I am back here in the Work Simple Studios empowering MBR to give veterans a voice. Huge shout out to Work Simple. And huge shout out to Dunkin' Donuts and Jersey Mike's for their continued support here. Got the donuts with me in the studio today. H Train coming in clutch, bringing those in. So big thank you to those three, or just always there for MBR and really empower everything that we're able to do. Back here, though, talking about the NBA playoffs now. We just went into the NHL, delved into that. So if you want to get my thoughts on that, we'll have to watch the podcast later, but we're going the NBA now. And we're starting with the sweep of the East. I'll give you a game-by-game breakdown of what I thought here. And I got to tell you, this series, it was over after the first one. This blowing that 22-point lead from that Cleveland Blue. I mean, after that, I was like, they're just doomed. I feel that was just a dejecting loss. And I think that's going to kill this team's confidence. And it did. They were pretty putrid for the rest of it. I mean, they were looking really good, knocking down their threes to start. Obviously jumping out to a big lead. Donovan Mitchell was great through the first 3 quarters. You had Evan Mobley, who was playing really well, 15 and 14 at the end of this game. He had 3 blocked shots. Getting some good minutes from Sam Merrill off the bench. He knocked down 3 3-pointers. But that man, Jalen Brunson, dude's just absolutely filthy. He is incredibly clutch. Scored 38 points in this one, man. And 15 of those came in the fourth quarter on that run to get that game tied back up. You know, people say he's not a good defender. 3 steals from the guy. Also had 5 defensive rebounds. Those were all of his rebounds in the game. 6 assists as well. 15 to 29. Only hit 1 3, but it was a pretty big one in the fourth. Big difference between him and Donovan Mitchell in this one. Mitchell had like 1 point in the fourth quarter and 2 in overtime. Those were both free throws, if I remember. It's like a layup. And it was just not good from the Cavs here to end it. Really just brutal. Pull up just for everybody to see the overtime chart and just everything that happened here. Knicks win the jump ball. And then like 15 seconds in, shooting foul. OG knocks them both down. Immediately after that, turnover, 2 points. You miss a field goal, don't get the rebound. But then, hey, you draw a charge. All right, settle things down, get it back together. Nope. Miss a 3, pretty open 3 too, from Evan Mobley. Can't get a rebound there. OG gets to the basket way too easily. You get another foul. That's from Bridges, though, all personal. So it's all right. We can calm things down. Another missed shot. Get a block from Mobley, but he misses the 3. Shamit, then, who has also just been deadly in this postseason, man. That guy has gotten hot at just the right time, shooting that 3 ball. Gets it down the 3-pointer here. And then finally, with 1:45 left to go in overtime, after he checks into the game, Max Strus is able to hit a 25-foot jump shot for 3. And then after that was it. I mean, Cavs just went quiet. A lot of fouls on them, lane violations, just missed shots, putting the Knicks at the line. I mean, the final, like, fourth quarter and then the final stretch of this game in overtime. It was abysmal. You're going in with a pretty solid lead after a pretty dominant third quarter. I mean, you open with a huge scoring run in the third. You're up 22, and then in the fourth quarter in overtime, getting outscored 46-21. Not too good. Yeah, you don't like to see that from your team. Yeah, a lot. I mean, you lost the rebound battle really badly late, and the Knicks ended up winning it overall in the game. And then the fouls just started to get out of control for them. And what I don't get here, I mean, you have a former defensive player of the year. You've got two really great defensive bigs, and you give up 60 points in the paint. Like, where are your guys? Like, what are we doing? Where are they? They're not where they're supposed to be. I mean, like, New York should not be eating in the paint the way they did, but it just, I mean, Brunson just cleared out, get like Harden or Merrill on him, and I mean, just do what he wants. Just get to his spot. That was a lot of what the fourth quarter was. I mean, it was just, get Harden switched on the Brunson, and then Brunson's going to torture him. And that was exactly what happened here. Dare I say, maybe Cleveland missing a good defensive guard like Darius Garland, per se. Well, no Darius Garland here, and blowing that 22-point lead, just absolutely crushing. And then you could see the rest of the series, man. It felt like the Cavs just were crushed and weren't able to really rally and get themselves back into this one. I go to game 2 now, and semi-competitive for a little bit, but New York started to pull away a bit in the second, really dominated them in the third quarter, and Cleveland just wasn't able to rally in the fourth and weren't able to get enough of a rally going. 109-1 to 93 in this one. And the shooting for the Cleveland was just abysmal in this. I mean, 39% from the field. They were 9 of 35 from deep. And another game where they hit below 70% or below 80% rather on their free throws. They were 75% in game 1, 69% here. So, I mean, they're just, even the freebies just weren't falling for them. You know, that was like Jared Allen getting to the line. It's just not really, this game, not really getting anything from anybody off the bench. I mean, Strus ended up coming off the bench in this one. You had Dean Wade in the starting lineup, and he gave you 3 points in 21 minutes. But Merrill and Strus, the guys that got the most minutes off the bench, gave you 5 and 4. I mean, Sam Merrill's whole thing is he's a knockdown shooter, and he shot 1 for 8 and was 0 of 7 from deep. Only hit 50% of his free throws too. So like he was just pretty useless. Donovan Mitchell, rather inefficient, 26, 8 of 18. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Didn't get a lot of threes to drop. Had to get a lot of it at the line here. And again, they just were, I mean, the Knicks were just way better. Way more efficient with basketball here. Another game where they just absolutely dominated in the points, or in the paint, 58 points in the paint. Way more assists. I mean, the ball movement, that was something that just disappeared at the end of game 1 for Cleveland. It carried over into this. I mean, when they got up to that big lead, I mean, there was just, everybody was touching the basketball. There was so much movement, you know. And then it just turned into one pass, ISO ball, take a shot. And that doesn't translate to offense a lot of the time. You want to talk about really killing it on the defensive boards. 35 defensive rebounds out of their 40 total boards for the Knicks in this one. They were a little bit better from three. Only hit 4 more, but only took 1 extra shot over Cleveland. And this was a Josh Hart game. Like, we got this, like, Josh Hart took control in this game. I mean, he was the leading scorer for the Knicks. And their entire starting lineup played really well. Bridges and Brunson both scoring 19. Brunson had himself a double-double, actually, with 19 and 14 assists in this game. Cat with an 18 and 13 double-double as well. But yeah, 26 points for Josh Hart. Was tied with Donovan Mitchell to lead all scorers. He was 5 of 11 from deep. I mean, he was just, he was hitting his threes, getting downhill, attacking the basket. I mean, it was just, felt like everything was falling for Josh Hart. And this is like a Knicks team, and when that starting 5 is playing with a lot of synergy, it is just hard to stop them. They're really, really good. On to game 3 in Cleveland, and desperate to maybe try to keep their season alive. Saw a spirited effort from Evan Mobley, who scored 24 in this one. He was actually leading scorer for the Cavs. Mitchell's right behind him with 23 points. Again, they weren't getting a ton from their shooters. I mean, they were 12 of 41 from deep here. Strus, Merrill, Wade, I mean, even like Harden, Mitchell, I mean, like nobody was really hitting on an efficient clip. 4 of 11 for Strus, 3 of 10 for Mitchell, 1 of 7 for Harden, 1 of 6 for Mobley. I mean, a lot of what Cleveland's been able to do to hurt people is you get those really talented guards. You know, either they're going to get themselves a good one-on-one opportunity to drive to the basket, maybe pull up for a jump shot, get a layup, something like that with Harden and Mitchell, or you can swing it out and you've got a number of shooters, even big men like Mobley who can shoot, plus Jarrett Allen there for the lob threat, but it just wasn't happening. Dean Wade, man, this guy just disappeared in this game. 0 points as well. Brunson, insane again in this one. 10 and 19, dropping 30 points in this one. Landry Shamet, like I said, guy gets hot off the bench, was 4 of 5 from 3, scored 14 points total in this game. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, even Karl Anthony Towns getting in. I mean, just 3 steals for Towns and Bridges, 4 for Hart. I mean, the defensive activity was great. I mean, the defensive role players for the Knicks have been fantastic. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges have been playing unreal defense on some of the best scorers here. Even Josh Hart's been really good as a perimeter defender. And they're just keeping Cat. They're just like not letting teams switch Cat into the pick and roll. Like he's out there in the corner guarding people, and OG has been the secret weapon in this whole run. His ability to guard 1 through 5, it truly cannot be overstated how important that's been to the Knicks' dominance here. I mean, it's keeping Cat out of uncomfortable situations for him as a defender, and, you know, also just helping Brunson really be able to focus in on the offensive end. They've been just scheming away to their defensive liabilities. They've just been scheming that out, really. Mike Brown's done a fantastic job. Cannot believe the Kings fired that guy. Yeah. And this was another game where the points in the paint were it's a little more even this one, but again, still just 42. Like, I mean, the Knicks just were getting whatever they wanted in there. wasn't even like Cat had a massive game. He was 13 points, 8 rebounds, 7 boards. Kind of doing a little bit of everything here. I mentioned the 3 steals as well. And yeah, this game, less points in the paint, but more trips to the line for New York too. So, Cleveland was just, first they weren't defending it very well, and then they were defending it too hard. So they just couldn't really get anything sorted out here. And then not too much to go off to recap here. Game 4, New York just closed it out in absolute dominant fashion, a 37-point blowout. And it just got out of hand quickly for Cleveland. Down by 12 at the end of the first, and they just were never. New York just never looked back. A 130-93 victory. You had like a lot of guys that weren't seeing a ton of minutes getting in this one. Landry Shaman only played 19 minutes and scored 16 points, hitting 4 threes. He was perfect from 3-point range. Miles McBride scoring 11 points in 17 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, who was kind of like didn't play a whole lot because they wanted to take away that ability to just hack a Robinson and force him to shoot free throws. He got his opportunities here. And there was kind of no point in doing Hacker Robinson. Got an impressive 8 and 10 in this one. Yeah, only 15 from Bridges and Brunson. But it just showed you just how dominant and like just how many contributions they got from everybody. Tyler Cole comes in for only 8 minutes in this game and drops 8 points. It was just an overall complete dominant effort out of the Knicks in this one. Just blew him out of the water. Mitchell gave it his best effort, dropping 31 points. But this was another game where it was the dejected Cavs team who was really out of gas and did not seem like they wanted to be out there anymore. Oh, okay, man, I see your comment. I'm actually about to get to that series. I just wanted to pose one more question before I move on to that OKC series, which, man, you bring up a great point. Bro, Lou Dort Tony Brothers looked like a high school girl out there flirting with his crush, talking to Lou Dort. Like, what do we all smiley and giggly after just ignoring Mitch Johnson on that challenge call and the ball going off of Chet's foot? We're gonna get to that. But my last note for that Knicks series, this has been one of the great runs we've seen in recent memory from a team in the playoffs. This is 11 straight. So they're going to be up there just shy of like some of the really most dominant teams in NBA histories, like the 2017 Warriors, like the 98 Bulls, the 2017 Cavs that like basically swept everybody en route to a finals. New York's, this is 12 in a row for them now. 11 or 12. I think it's 11. New York's really on their way there. But I think Cleveland on the flip side. Hey, it was kind of like that. Oh, man. Miss you, buddy. I hope you're doing well out in Louisiana, though. The Cavs might have had the absolute worst conference finals runs we've ever seen out of a team. An 8 and 10 record, really, in the postseason. That's what they had en route to the conference finals. Like barely eked out of their 2 series and then just got manhandled and obliterated by New York. So let me know, was that the worst conference finals run we've ever seen from a team? Might be. I'm inclined to say that. But yeah, whoa. This Thunder series, man. It's been good, but it's also just been really overshadowed by some stupid officiating. What I thought game 1 was pure cinema. They let the guys play. Shea was poo-poo in this one, really. I mean, he was terrible. I mean, I guess he still did post a double-double, but he was like so inefficient. 24 points. Did have 5 steals as well, but I mean, really, he just did not look good in this one from what we're used to seeing from Shea. Alex Caruso, kind of legacy game, saved them, man, hitting 8 threes in this one, scoring 31 points. But this was a peak Wemby game with a 41, 24 points, 3 block shots. I mean, he was electric, pulling up from deep to hit that big, it's like a 30-footer to tie the game up. The guards play from Castle and Harper was phenomenal. This game gave me a lot of hope for this series because I don't think it was really too bad of officiating. Shea was still falling to the ground, but they weren't just calling everything. It just felt like 2 good teams playing ball, and the better team won at the end. You know, the Spurs got to the line about 29 times. There weren't any bad calls that I thought flipped momentum or anything like that. It was just Jalen Williams, he was really good in this one, 26 points. I've already mentioned Harper and Castle, 24 and 17 for those. Stephon Castle, that's his turnovers almost. That's right. Yeah, he had a triple-double if you count the 11 turnovers. I mean, that has been his only problem in this series is the turnovers, but 17, 6, and 11. Harper, 24, 11, and 6. 7 steals for Dylan Harper. This was peak basketball. And then we got to game 2, and I felt like we lost some of that peakness. It was still a pretty good game, but iHeart just getting to do all this bull crap crabbing and yanking on Wemby's arm, the part where he yanked Stephon Castle's hair and didn't get called there. It just felt like a big foul disparity in this one. Both teams got called for 21 personals, but it felt like the Thunder were missing 5 or 6 that would have been pretty crucial in this game. Obviously, Shea was a lot better in this one, 30 points, kind of back to his usual self. Caruso, that bald MF really annoys me, but God, he does hoop out in these big moments. He had another 17 in this one. This was just, the Thunder have just been getting unreal contributions from their bench. This was, you had 10 from AJ Mitchell, 12 from McCain, 12 from Wallace. Jay Will, 6, 17 out of Caruso. Even though, Jalen got hurt. Lou Dort was kind of quiet. Chet didn't do a ton. iHeart didn't do a ton, but the bench contributions were massive in this one. And yeah, Wemby was not nearly as impressive in this. He still had 21, 17, 6 assists and 4 blocks. But in the whole game, Isaiah Hartenstein's hooking him, yanking on him, and I get you. We got a little ridiculous if you call all of them, but there were a couple of very blatantly obvious ones, and then obviously he yanked Stephon Castle down by his hair. I think overall, there's no guarantee that you get those calls you're going to convert and win either way, but this ended up being a 9-point game. Excuse me. And I look at it, they played the Thunder pretty evenly. They shot really well, 40% from 3, 49% from the field. They honestly shot better than the Thunder on all 3 aspects. Field, 3-point, and at the line. They were more efficient there. So rebounds they out-rebounded them. Did have 12 less assists. And did have 21 turnovers. Castle's turnovers have been a big problem, as I mentioned. But it wasn't like this game. They didn't blow it tremendously. There were some things they could have cleaned up. I definitely think, given you could call iHeart for some more of those fouls, and maybe this thing goes a little different, but there was still a good chance that the Thunder won that one. And then there was still some shenanigans in game 3 on the road. But I just don't think the Spurs played very good in this one overall. They were 82% at the line, which wasn't terrible. They got out rebounded a lot. Again, they just had a lot of turnovers. They didn't shoot nearly as good in this one. Wemby just could not get a rebound. Only 4 from him in this game was really bad. Despite his 26 points, I didn't like that. He just didn't seem to want to get into the paint, get the rebounds. Overall, they just didn't feel like they were maximizing their opportunities here. So I'm like, I just think this game was more on how they played. And again, they got huge. Like the Thunder's bench is just been the X factor here, man. I mean, they're getting like massive contributions off the bench. 24 from McCain, 11 from Wallace, 18 from Jalen Williams, 15 from Caruso. And then you look at like even defensively, like 3 steals for Wallace, 2 for Caruso and Jalen Williams. The rebounds, like McCain grabs 4, 5 for Wallace, 3 for Caruso, 5 for Williams. Caruso even blocks the shot. So it's just all sorts of, and Wallace has 4 assists. Like it's not just the points. It is all the other things that they're doing. Shea, 26 and 12. Again, not a super efficient night for him, but like he wasn't shooting the ball well, but he was 12 of 12 at the line. So that was the thing. That was the most shenanigans. Even though Shea was struggling, he kept getting a lot of bailouts at the line. But I mean, I don't put too much of that on the rest. I do think the Spurs honestly could have played a lot better in this game, but they just didn't. They kind of let this one slip away at home. I think they knew that. That's what we sort of saw. They were much more dominant, and Wemby was way more aggressive defensively. And this one, absolutely. I mean, they just absolutely shut down Chet Holmgren. 33 points out of Wemby. I mean, they had Shea absolutely stumped on how to get Chet more involved. But yeah, 33, 8 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Whew. I mean, it's just unreal what this guy can do. 3 3-pointers, literally growing out of a lab. Kind of a quiet game. Fox has been, I mean, he was injured, finally kind of got back out there. Only a quiet 12 points, but he did have 10 assists, really getting his impact felt on this one. Yeah, and this one, the Thunder's bench did not play as well, and that I think made a big difference. I mean, you still got it's just kind of random. Like this one, it's Kendrick Williams and Isaiah Joe. Caruso, I think, got a little banged up. He only played 14 minutes. Definitely didn't look that great while he was out there. Jared McCain went 0 for 5. I mean, they just were a really porous night shooting for the Thunder. They were 33% from the field, 18% from deep. Another bad shooting night from Shea, really 6 of 15, just kind of unlike him. Got his 7 free throws, though. He was 7 of 7 at the line. Doesn't miss those free throws. Yeah. So this one, I mean, defensively, they were a lot better. They played Shea. Like they didn't really double Shea a lot in this one. They kind of just played him one-on-one. And I think Carter Bryant, who did most of the defending in this one, did a fantastic job. Bryant hasn't done a lot scoring, but I do like he's been really just a really impactful effort guy. And he's playing with he's been the one that's guarding Shea a lot. And so I think Shea's been really inefficient in this series for the most part. And Carter Bryant's defense has been a big part of that. I like it. I mean, it's Shea. He's still going to get his points. He's still going to get to the line, whatever. But he's the type of guy that can score 30 to 35 and, only miss 4 or 5 shots in the game. It's hard to really disrupt him. He's just going to hit those shots. So to see a lot of these off shooting performances where he's down below 50, 40% is has been really impressive to see. So got to give Carter Bryant his props for that defense there. But then this is what me and Caveman were even referencing with Tony Brothers. Game 5. I mean, it was a really close game. And this happened. I mean, first there's a goaltend missed when the the Spurs are down 10, which was, I mean, a pretty obvious goaltending. You get Cornette, ball comes out of the cylinder, he tips it back in. And I mean, after the tip and as it's going down, I think it was Jalen Williams or Isaiah Joe. One of those guys comes up, might have been Wiggins. No. It was who was that? I cannot remember who blocked it, but somebody comes up. It's Casey Wallace, that's who. Comes up over the like as the ball's going back down into the basket, comes up over the rim and knocks it away. I was like, I mean, just couldn't be a more obvious goaltend. That's not a call, whatever. And then there's a play where Wemby gets stripped, ball goes out of bounds. It's called OKC's ball, but you look over it on video and you can see it went off of Chet's foot. Mitch Johnson, he wants to challenge it. I mean, we're watching him try to spin that finger. Ref looks him dead in the eye, doesn't stop play. The Thunder inbound it, keep going, and it's like they can't do anything now. And so that's where people get frustrated because it's not even like the free throw things with Shea. Like Shea's a star player. He shot 17 free throws in this game, which was freaking ridiculous. That was literally half of his points came at the line. So that was pretty bad in this one. But then it's things like this. I mean, it's a 10-point game. It's close. I mean, this is well within reach for the Spurs. And like, that is just a huge momentum killer for them to not get that ball back. I mean, that would have been their ball. That would have been back to them, their possession. And I think that that's just, and instead it ended up turning into points on the other side, both times for the Thunder. So, like again, Thunder had a slight rebound advantage, about even in turnovers. Almost 30 fouls, though, called on the Spurs. 29. Spurs shot pretty well. They were 12 of 41 from 3 wasn't the best, but 40% from the field. I mean, it wasn't like the Thunder were all too dynamite either. They were just slightly better from the field, and 44% from 3. So could have knocked down some more threes, but I just really think that momentum seemed to just really killed a lot of the momentum that San Antonio was building, trying to claw back into this one. And it's just things like that where those are big swings and for the team, and like especially just a young team like San Antonio, I feel like they kind of got down on themselves a bit or were frustrated. And it's just like you can go. I mean, I got a thread on Twitter of all the shady stuff that they've been doing in here. There was a point in this game, Dylan Harper, I think he elbowed Jared McCain elbowed Dylan Harper in the throat, doesn't get a call, crosses half court, and then stops. And as Harper's chasing him, trying to get back, he just leans forward slightly, lets Harper bump into him, and then just falls over. I like the whole team. They're just shameless floppers. I saw somebody on Twitter say they literally turned off a close game that was, it's a finals game, a conference finals game, and they literally turned it off because they weren't watching it. Like such a crucial, pivotal game in the season, and we got people tuning out because the Thunder play like the worst type of basketball. It's not just Shea. I mean, he's the ringleader of it, but like the whole team just will do this flopping crap. But then on the other side, they're like hooking people. They're doing all these dirty plays, like stepping on people's feet off of the off of missed free throws, so it's harder for them to get the rebounds and everything. And it's ridiculous. It's shameless, and the league won't do anything about it. I mean, they're the defenders that are like, oh, well, they just force the refs to they really just toe the line between like breaking the rules or not. And I'm like, okay, well, that's shitty. Like, what? There's no honor in that, you know? Like, honestly, it almost feels like we got to start like adopting like this like pickup style of play. Like, because, you know, like if you're playing pickup basketball, like you call your own fouls, but there's kind of this like honor system to it, you know, where it's like it really has to be like earned. And I mean, like a lot of people just play. It's like, I mean, like it has to be just overtly egregious to really even call something. Because, like, I mean, you can call a bunch of fouls, but nobody's going to want to play with you, and you're not going to get picked. Nobody's going to run teams with you. You kind of just get forced out. Like, there's that honor system there about like keeping the games fun and competitive, and nobody trying to game the system. And the Thunder are like the exact antithesis of that. So it makes me feel like we need to bring more street ball or pickup rules to the game, or just fire all the refs and hire FIBA refs and adopt more FIBA rules, because the FIBA and Olympic basketball has been a lot of fun. And I think like the Thunder are the best team in the league, and I think they still would be without all this extra bullcrap. But it's unnecessary. They don't need all of this to still be good. They have elite role players, elite bench depth. They're a great defensive team, even though they get away with some fouling on defense. Like some of that would stop. They would probably. But we have other teams that play this physical style of defense, like the Pistons, like the Cavs. Not the Cavs, the Magic. I mean, that was a great defensive series. We saw a lot of fouls, but that's because both teams were just like incredibly physical with each other. I mean, heck, even like the Timberwolves and Rockets kind of have that style of play. Like, so it's not that you need to take the physicality out of the game, but like it's just on one side, like you just have like these guys get brushed up against and they just go falling down. I mean, heck, like guys aren't even like raising their arms on some shot attempts and just trying to get to the side to not get called. I mean, I think of the De'Aaron Fox, like Shea takes his jumper, doesn't put his hands up or jump to contest. He just, moves to the side, tries to get out of his landing area because he was kind of running on the closeout, but figured it wasn't worth it. And Shea lands next to him and just falls over. He's fallen over on 27% of his shot attempts. That is like by far the highest rate of any player. So I'm interested to see what some of my viewers' thoughts might be. I don't think it's good for the game of basketball. We have a lot of teams that are a lot of fun to watch. I want a Spurs versus Knicks finals. I think that would be some peak hoops right there. Two teams, I mean, like with vastly different star players. You've got the 7'4" super freak athlete that like looks like an extraterrestrial, and Wembanyama can literally do everything. And then you've got the undersized and really like doubted his entire career guard, Jalen Brunson, that just has a chip on his shoulder and, plays with a passion and toughness that you just can't you just can't teach. And so it's it would be just really great. Like the just guy that looks like he was designed in the lab for basketball versus that scrappy underdog that everybody doubted, not a number one option on a finals team. All that would be great. I don't want to watch the Thunder. They are just not enjoyable to watch. Sometimes there's some really good matchups against them, but like I said, I loved game one of this series between the Spurs and the Thunders. It was honestly one of my favorite games of the entire postseason. It was a phenomenal game. I think the refereeing was really good, and the Thunder didn't even have too many of their antics. They got to be punished for this. Like it's it's turning a lot of people away, and it's honestly giving a bad name to a lot of teams that play a much more ethical and fun style of basketball to watch. But this is the team that keeps going to the forefront. And it's like, I would honestly have zero problem watching the Thunder if they played the exact same way, but their games were reffed fairly, you know, like, okay, they can be physical. They might pick up more fouls that way, but it's like you just like can't touch them, can't touch Shea on the other end. And then you've got Lou Dort, all them doing MMA moves and that type of stuff on the other end. A lot of people are fed up with it. All right, well, that's going to do it for my my breakdown of the West Finals. Got up on my soapbox there a little bit. Let me know what you all think of the Thunder's run and who you want to see face the Knicks in the finals. Maybe you like watching the Thunder. I don't know. No judgment if you do. All right, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to hit one more musical break for this show, and then we're going to close it out with a look at the UFL season, recap of Week 9, and the upcoming playoff picture. Plus, we'll take a look at the upcoming NFL season for y'all. Break down some of the favorite matchups I'm looking forward to. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Till the Final Whistle here on Military Broadcast Radio.
Good morning, son. I just wanted you to know all your things are with me now. Yeah, they finally made it home. There's that brand new pair of boots you only wore once or twice. I found your Army notebook. They're tucked inside. It's all laid out for me to see, and I can feel your presence right here with me. Everything you ever owned is sitting here with me, right down to your cowboy boots and jeans. And like a bad dream that doesn't seem to want to stop, it all came home in a cardboard box. Yeah, your uniforms, baseball caps, old t-shirts and socks, all that's left of you came home today in a cardboard box. There's that 49ers flag that hung above your bed, sweatshirts and ball caps in gold and red. Those camo uniforms are in there too, along with that black beret that meant so much to you. I had your patches, coins, and watches all up on a shelf, a solemn reminder of the life that you led. Everything you ever owned is sitting here with me, right down to your cowboy boots and jeans. And like a bad dream that doesn't seem to want to stop, it all came home in a cardboard box. Yeah, your uniforms, baseball caps, old t-shirts and socks, all that's left of you came home today in a cardboard box. Yeah, I know this old world will never be the same, so I'll try to just keep walking through this storm of pain. There's no rhyme or reason why you're gone so soon. There's no book or prayer that eases the pain of losing you. Son, I know that you're in a better place, but I just can't seem to shake this pain. So I try to keep holding on, just try not to go insane. I sit here in silence and think of you a lot, going through all of these memories in a cardboard box. Yeah, everything of yours came home today. In a cardboard box.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by WorkSimple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
All right, we're back for the home stretch here on the final timeout. Got to make sure we get that play call just right. No more stopping the clock. This is it, folks. It's our best play. We got to draw it up. We got to come in clutch and get this thing done. All right. So here we go. The UFL season, man. With me and K-Man didn't get to this a lot before he went out to the Bayou. And it's sad that we haven't gotten to talk a ton of UFL because it's been honestly a pretty impressive season. Going into this week, every team was still alive in some mathematical way. 3 teams have been eliminated and 3 teams have clinched. So we're going into the final week of the season. Really, it's the Birmingham Stallions and the Louisville Kings that are fighting for that final spot to compete in the United Bowl. So I think right now, as it sits, Louisville controls their fate. You win, you're in. If not, Birmingham would need to lose. Birmingham does play the day before Louisville. They're going to be Saturday against the Gamblers, while the Kings are final game Sunday evening on Fox against the Aviators. So they will kind of know their fate. Should the Stallions lose, then it doesn't really matter what Louisville does. They will have clinched that spot and they'll sneak in as the final team there. This season's been a fun one. I'll do an in-depth week 9 recap, but just to go through all the other weeks of the season as well. It started with a couple of defensive matchups to start the year. A 15-13 victory for Birmingham, a 16-10 victory for St. Louis. The Renegades got out to a blazing start with a 36-17 victory. Orlando 23-16 win over Columbus. You had the Renegades, they were rolling, man. They scored 31, crushed the Battlehawks. A nail biter between Houston and Birmingham in week 2. The Defenders got back on track on the title defense with a 44-26 trouncing over the Aviators. 28 points again. Dallas looking red hot, taking down the Aviators. A shootout between the Battlehawks and Stallion in week 3. DC obliterating Houston 45-7. Orlando and Louisville going down to the wire in a 29-27 thriller. That was week 3. Gamblers, much more competitive in week 4, but they just come up short. 2 points to the Kings. And then the slide for Dallas hit, and they started 3-0, lost 6 straight to get eliminated from the playoffs. And it started with the Aviators getting a 28-14 victory over them. A battle between the Battlehawks and the Defenders saw the Defenders come out on top, and the Storm would have been the best team all season. I mean, not a bunch of some wins weren't flashy and impressive. I mean, this was they had a 16-0 shutout, but 7-2 on the year. We go in the week 5, the highlight. It's of this, excuse me, Louisville with a 47-25 victory over Dallas. DC with a 45-28 victory over the Stallions. The Battlehawks were able to actually hand Orlando their first loss of the season on the road, no less, 25-17. Gamblers and Aviators kind of playing a scrub matchup. Week 6, as we go along here, you had 16-3 victory for the Battlehawks. Really close game between the Aviators and Gamblers again. Dallas got blanked by DC 24-6. Then the Stallions gave the Storm their second loss. So all of a sudden the Storm were like, oh crap, it's started 4-0, now we're 4-2. They really had to double down and lock in for their last few weeks of the season. Excuse me, gotta hydrate. Storm got back on track though with a last-second victory over the Gamblers. Stallions take down the Renegades again. Sort of a shock, big underdogs. Louisville ended up dominating DC on the road 30-13. Battlehawks started that week off with an 11-point victory over the Aviators, 31-20. We get into week 8. Renegades just again couldn't finish one of their better games of recent memory, but they just fall short 31-24 against the Storm. We had a thrilling shootout between Louisville and DC, and man, Louisville getting the victory again, 33-13 or 33-30 rather. Battlehawks sort of slipped up at home against the Gamblers. Stinkfest, a 14-3 victory against Birmingham versus Columbus. Now we come into our most recent week, week 9. And these were some matchups, teams were deciding their fates here. DC had the added benefit of, even though they lost their matchup against the Storm, the teams that they had to worry about all lost, so they still were able to clinch their spot. And they'll be in the postseason trying to get that title defense, but 5-4 going into week 10. But what do we have going down in this game? Jack Plummer, who's been one of the best, or you know what? He has been the best quarterback in the UFL this year, actually leading the league in passing 15 yards short of 2,000, so 1985. Been the best quarterback in the league, though, easily. And he's also thrown for 15 touchdowns to just 1 interception. So dude's just been crazy efficient with the football, 66% completion percentage, 104 QBR, which is by far, 10 points better than the next closest guy here. This game, he does this thing, man. 21-27, 275, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Doesn't get a ton of help from his running game. I mean, the Storm don't have the strongest rushing attack. You got Jashawn Corbin, name you might recognize from spring football. He has had a solid season, but nothing to write home about. And just really Plummer just dicing apart a pretty solid defense for DC. Got to give DC some credit. Lost by 8 points, but they were missing their starting quarterback, Jordan Teamu. So it was the backup, Spencer Sanders. 10 of 21. He didn't turn the football over, but only 160 yards passing. Did what he could. Defenders really tried to get it done on the ground. Committee of different guys, but overall 35 carries for 202 and a touchdown. DC got some solid drives together, but just their inability to really pass the ball when they needed to did them in this one. They ended up settling for a lot of field goals. Matt McCrane did end up missing one, but he was 4 or 5 in this game. But yeah, they're just their inability to turn good drives into touchdowns. They're only able to do it once. And meanwhile, you had Orlando came out of the gates really hot. They're up 21-10 at halftime. Sort of took their foot off the gas. We're certainly playing it more conservative. Don't turn the ball over style of play. Added 2 more field goals, though. It was just, same thing. Like DC, really, if you wanted to close the gap, couldn't really throw the ball if they wanted to move it down the field. It's like they're just chewing a lot of clock. I mean, it's a solid run game, but it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. It's 5 here, 6 here. It's just when you're trailing, you're kind of just bleeding the clock. Doesn't do you a ton of favors. And this one, weren't able to get a takeaway or come away with anything like that. Didn't really get a lot of pressure on Plummer. Like he was very comfortable back there all game. And that would end up doing them in. But regardless, they got their were able to clinch it still and hold on. Well, a team that got eliminated from the playoffs, but did get to pick up a win and is hoping to maybe win one more, finish 4-6 after kind of an up and down season where they just couldn't really get things going. Excuse me. Is the Columbus Aviators. Tried a couple of different quarterback combinations and everything, taking on their opponent, the Birmingham Stallions, who started off the year really rough, but made a trade, got DTR in there, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who was not good in this game. I will put that out there first. He was through 2 interceptions, 16 of 35, 157. But he was a big part of the Stallions, turning it around, responsible for 3 of their 4 wins. But this game, he struggled. Jalen Morton, who's been mostly the guy most of the year for the Aviators, was slinging it around 14 of 30. Didn't complete a whole lot of passes, but he did have 213 and 3 touchdowns. Both teams were really trying to lean on the run game, but Columbus got a lot more out of it. 179 yards rushing to just 116 for Birmingham. Birmingham scored 29, but it was a lot of special teams for them. 3 field goal attempts here. Excuse me. They, again, same thing for them late. I mean, they were looking really good to start and scoring 23 points in the first half, but the offense just fell off a cliff there in the second. I think they kept trying to force passes or throw it early in the down, and they just kept setting themselves behind the sticks. And so ended up punting a lot more. The new rule where you got to go once you cross the 50. You can't punt after you cross the 50. That definitely burned them a couple of times in there. And yeah, it was a much, Columbus, it was a tale of 2 halves where they were sort of slow to start the first half, only 13 points. But you saw like late in the second quarter, the offense start to pick it up, and they ended up scoring a touchdown to cap off a rather impressive drive at the start of the second quarter. And then they got one about midway through the second, came back out and ended after punting on the first drive, got the ball back, went down, scored another touchdown. Almost had a turnover that cost them, but they were able to hold on and rally in that one. And then you've got our next matchup here. It's another good one, but Dallas hung in there for a little bit. But man, Louisville, another team that made a quarterback trade. There were a lot of QB trades this season, and the new guy Chandler Rogers has really revitalized this team. Another team that started the year off looking not too hot, and their opponent was the Renegades, who looked like the team to beat through the first 3 weeks. I've done a total 180. Austin Reed does still lead the UFL in passing touchdowns with 18, but the guy was really struggling with his turnovers after week 3. He has 9 interceptions. Yeah, and this one, he had a really bad pick. You could hear with the extra, whatchamacallit, the sideline angles that they got there, or the sideline mics with the coaches. I mean, he was just getting eviscerated by his coach, but guy's just not seeing the field the way he was the start of the season. Only 1-on-1 here. Kind of surprised he hasn't been pulled at this point, but now your season's over. It's kind of a mute point. But Rogers, complete opposite. This guy was fantastic. 16 to 21, 266, and a touchdown. And then to top it off, I mean, in the second half, Louisville just pounded Dallas on the ground. Ended up ending the game with 205 yards. You got Ian Wheeler, 93 yards and a touchdown. He ripped off a 35-yarder. James Robinson, shout out Jags legend, was really their go-to back for the most part. And he just grounded it out, man. 22 carries, 88 yards. Rogers also ended up running in the touchdown, so there was 2 rushing touchdowns there, 3 total for Rogers. You had guys like Tariq Black for Louisville, made some big plays in the receiving game. Yeah, this was one where, I mean, the Renegades were trying to hang in it, and it was only a 3-point game going in halftime, 13-10. So you're like, oh, this maybe could be anybody's ball game. I mean, Dallas had to win to keep their season alive, but the fourth quarter, I mean, even though you scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, garbage time drive for one of those touchdowns. You gave up 21, and then it was like the turnovers and the missed opportunities all started to happen like late into the third and into the fourth quarter. Like a missed field goal around the 5:57 left in the third. Followed up, you're like, okay, we get a touchdown, kind of back in this thing. But Louisville rattles off 3 straight touchdown drives, and then that span, they go touchdown for touchdown, and then Dallas's drive ends in an interception, like a quick one. It was like 20 seconds. I mean, like they threw a pick like almost immediately. Leads to another touchdown. They get some yardage, but then they got to kind of have to go for it on 4th down. Turnover on downs, bam, another touchdown. And then it's just, gets in the garbage time. That was Louisville. Fantastic job of milking like 4 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes off the clock, ending those drives in 6. And so, yeah, you 2-minute drive out of Dallas, they get a touchdown, but at that point, too little, too late. They were just really struggled to find any consistency in here. And I mean, for a while, Louisville was just, settling for field goals. They had a couple turnovers of their own. There's some drives that sputtered out before they could really get going, but they mattered the most, man. I mean, all those fourth quarter mistakes, they turned into points, into touchdowns. I just killed Dallas, and really it was almost kind of felt like a fitting way for their season to end, where they were looking good to start and then just had a total collapse there at the end. All right. And so our final matchup was my very favorite team, the Battlehawks, closing out with a good one against the Gamblers, 21-15. They get the victory. And yeah, this Battlehawks defense, man, getting Luis Perez in there, that was what they were missing. They needed to figure out their quarterback position. Spring football legend Luis Perez. He's won a football game in every spring league that there has been. And he's winning them for the Battlehawks now, got them sitting at a 6-3 record. And this one was, only one touchdown, only 2 touchdowns really given up by the Battlehawks. A missed PAT, tried to go for 2 on the other one. But those were coming off of really the only 2 solid drives that I think the Gamblers had. They were running the ball really well on that first touchdown drive. They got some big runs. It was a 3-play, 64-yard drive. It was the quarterbacks running the football. John Rice Plumlee, they had coming in to run the ball, while Hunter Decker was more of the passer. And again, like a drive where a couple big plays got them down there quickly. 5-play, 69-yard drive early in the third was their other touchdown. But besides that, they got a field goal after their touchdown drive. You look at it, downs, punt, end to half, interception, punt, fumble, downs. This Battlehawks defense, if you can keep them well rested, they are gonna deliver you results. They've got a really good pass rush. Keep those guys fresh. They can be pretty unrelenting. They recorded 4 sacks in this game, came away with an interception, forced 2 fumbles, were able to recover 1 of those. So all over the Gamblers. Like I said, really only 2 good drives. The offense can be kind of shaky for the Battlehawks at times. That's my big worry for them going into the postseason. But they can put together some solid drives and just score around 20-24 and control the football. This defense should be able to keep them in most of their games. Still got the legend Hakeem Butler there. He had 4 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown in this game. The guy that's been really breaking out for them, though, in the receiving game is Stephen McBride. We'll actually go take a look at his stats on the season, and we go and look at the receiving yard leaders. It is Hakeem Butler still in the lead with 568. And Tyler Vaughn does have the most receiving touchdowns for the Renegades. But past couple of weeks, man, it's been the Stephen McBride show for the most part with the Battlehawks. It was really quiet to start the season, but like most of that 330 yards plus 3 touchdowns all coming in the last few weeks. 27 receptions. I don't think he was really even starting for him. But he just worked his way onto the field, and he's just been playing really well. But Butler is still your leading receiver, 568 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyler Vaughn's 6 touchdowns. You got Elijah Badger of Orlando. He's got 5 touchdowns and 536 receiving yards. Jaden Mickens, another staple of spring football, the Stallions, got 515 yards. Chris Rowland, Elijah Badger's teammate in Orlando, he's got 483 yards and 4 touchdowns. So a couple impressive stat lines for those guys there. They've been really solid for their team. Some of your leading rushers. Battlehawks also got the leading rusher there, man. They got Javon Howard, 430 rushing yards, but he's got no touchdowns, interestingly enough. And the guy that's got the most touchdowns is just not too far behind him in total yards. That's Deion Jackson, 411, 7 touchdowns there. Ian Wheeler, interestingly enough, 5 touchdowns on the year. All of those are against the Dallas Renegades. James Robinson, who's in a split backfield situation, still picking up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Love to see that. Loved me a little James Robinson back in the day. You got Joshua Corbin, 405, 3 touchdowns for the Storm. So Storm are looking really good. They're probably my pick to win it all. Our good friend Jimmy Covers said that they were his pick as well. So Looking over some defensive stats, man. Tay Crowder of the Stallions leading the league in tackles with 73. Let's see here. We're going to go to our sack leaders. Cam Gill of Louisville having himself, I mean, dude, 10 sacks in 9 games. That's really impressive. Averaging over a sack a game. I mean, that guy's been a big force for him. You've got a couple of Battle Hawks with 5 sacks. Carlos Davis, Pita Tomapenu, Derek Roberson of DC's got 7 sacks. I mean, there's some really exceptional pass rushers here. I mean, you think about like the NFL's got like a 16, 17, now 18 game regular season, and the most we've seen a guy get is 23, and it took him all 18 games. So these are, I mean, it's hard to get sacks. It's hard to have a sack every game. So to have guys that are sitting there around 6 or 8, I mean, it's been some really solid pass rushers this year. Malik Fisher of Houston, one of the bright spots for the Gamblers. What's been a otherwise pretty underwhelming season, but 6.5 sacks there for him. So yeah, current playoff picture as it stands, which we'll know the full thing next week, but your Storm and Battlehawks are going to be your top seeds. And so someone's going to host the Defenders, likely the Battlehawks. They'll probably be the higher seed, and the Battlehawks are likely going to be the 2 seed. And then you'll have like the Kings or the Stallions, depending on who comes out in this final week of the season, going to take the Storm on. 2-week playoffs, you'll have the winners of the 2 semifinal games meet for the United Bowl here in a couple of weeks. I would say it's another good year of spring football. I like what the new ownership's done with it. It's been a lot of fun. They've certainly added some more competitiveness and just offense to the game, which has been a real breath of fresh air. So I'm very excited about where this league is going. And I don't know how many of y'all remember Chicken Little, who was a co-host with me and Cave Band back in the day for a little bit when we were, still, I think, Sports in the Cave, honestly. But he joined us for a summer. Obviously, Army veteran. He's played some Division II collegiate specialist. Did get an invite to the specialist camp for the UFL in December, so might be able to see him out there punting for a team in the season next year, which is very exciting. It will be a little part of NBR in the UFL, which we would all love to see. All right. Well, we got a little bit of time left here, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to pop over to the MLB here real quick. Just talk about what's going on over there. Gotten to see a lot of the Atlanta Braves, man. That team is looking really good so far. Absolutely crushing it on the run differential. I would say top 2 teams by far are the Dodgers and the Braves. Looking like a crash course for those two to potentially meet in the NLCS, which, yeah, I mean, those Braves with a 103 run differential, the Dodgers with a 117. I mean, they're just, both those teams are absolutely crushing it. 37-18 are the Braves. 289 runs scored to 186 allowed. You got 35-20 for the Dodgers. They are at 294 runs to 177 allowed. They had a game where I was actually watching that game at work, as it was part of my responsibility on my Fox spot against the Brewers. But they gave up. Suzuki had a really rough start on the mound, got down 3-0, and then smoked the Brewers the rest of the game with 11 unanswered runs. On the flip side, you got some teams that are hitting the be hitting the panic button. I mean, the Mets, all that money they spent on Soto, and they're dead last in the NL East, 22-33. Phillies are struggling to keep their head above water right now. The Tigers off to just a complete flip of what they were last year. Scooble's been dealing with some injuries. It's just been really tough for that bullpen there, and they don't have a ton of offense. Otherwise, they're 21-34. Yankees and Rays are kind of in a competitive little fight for the top of the AL East, which isn't really looking too good behind those two. The Blue Jays, Orioles, Red Sox, all kind of just mid right there. The White Sox been a good surprise. I mean, they're second place in the AL Central at 27-7. They're 27-27, 500 record for them right now. Trying to keep pace with the Cleveland Guardians. The AL West is just dog water. No team in that one's got a winning record, so it'll be interesting to see whoever comes out of that. Probably getting swept in the first round. Maybe they'll turn the season around. We aren't even really at the halfway point yet. Mentioned the Brewers did blow that lead, but they have been pretty good. They were one of the better teams in the month of May. Still, they are just in a really good conference. I mean, everyone in the Centrals, I mean, the Pirates are the Pirates, but they're still kind of hanging around. The Cubs are actually having a solid season. Every team's above 500, though. You got 29-26 for the Cubs and Pirates. Reds are 29-25. I was actually also, for work, had to watch one of the games between the Cardinals and the Reds. That was a really good game. Good matchup there. I'm liking the Cardinals are a fun team too. I really like what I'm seeing them. They could be a fun team to watch here. Yeah, the AL Central, just a lot of good talent there as well. So, I mean, I think like that'll be the most fun conference to really watch here throughout the season. I'm just liking what I'm seeing so far from all those teams. Got a lot of interesting talent and everything there. I mean, the rest of the NL, I mean, the Padres are sort of hanging with the Dodgers. I just don't think they're going to be good still, and they could probably be a playoff team, but LA is very stacked. I don't think really anybody can hang with them in it. The same thing in the East, man. Like the Nationals are 8.5 back from the Braves. I mean, the Braves look phenomenal as well. They're going to be, they'd have to really get hit with injuries. I think that's the big thing, health and all that. And the Braves have definitely had their injury problems in the past, but should they stay healthy, they'll probably run away with the East. And then, I mean, the Americans just still some really fun teams. Yankees are getting Garrett Cole back. Could be good for them. The Rays have been a nice surprise this season, 34-18. They're looking really good. They've been really good at home, man. 19-5 too. Like Tampa Bay has been a tough place to play for people this year. So they got them and the Yankees having some good competitions. AL Central. And the Guardians, yeah, they're good. The Royals, the Tigers, despite having some good star players, are just really not. It's really just not clicking. The Twins and the White Sox, two teams that haven't been very good in recent memory, are starting to, maybe starting to get some of those young pieces to click. So we'll see that. That'll be an interesting one to watch. As I mentioned, the AL West right now has been pretty poopy. Nobody's been too good. But we'll see if somebody can rally and get it turned around. Very early in the season, I don't want to make any brash assumptions too soon, but it's been a pretty interesting baseball season as well. We're seeing some new faces, really, though. I mean, despite like some really dominant teams, it's just like the Dodgers and the Braves, even the Brewers, like teams that are hitting really well. It's just like buy a collection, like the top batting averages, the top 5, really nobody from that area. You just kind of got some, honestly, not as great teams that are leading the way in batting average, or with the leading batting averages. Shout out to Colorado Rockies, Troy Johnston's batting 321 here. Yandy Diaz, in 5th place. The leader, the best batting average, Otto Lopez. Your home run leaders, Kyle Schwarber, still hitting dingers. Aaron Judge is up there. He's got 17. It's kind of been a quiet year for homers from Shohei Ohtani, who's normally up near the top of the league. Definitely a couple of Braves though, man. Matt Olson's got 15. Drake Baldwin's got 13 so far. Ben Rice, man, I've been liking this young kid for the Yankees. He's been looking pretty good this year. Murakami, man, he's been awesome for the White Sox. He's got 19 homers. Some of the people with the most RBIs. Andy Pajes, man. Guy's been, despite the only 299 batting average, the advanced stats have been really good for him, man. The 553 slugging percentage, OPS 883, got a 3.5 WAR. Like he's looking really good this year. Matt Olson, man, with 15 home runs, 44 RBIs. Pajes, got 12. Abrams got 12 homers. And for Washington, it's been another nice team, and 109 there. Jordan Walker, I really like. He's been really nice for the Cardinals. I liked watching him. So he's got 42 RBIs and 15 home runs there. I haven't seen, honestly, been only 8 home runs, 29 for Ohtani. Been a bit of a down year for him batting, but he's been getting back on the plate more. So I have no doubt he'll probably step that up in a big way anyhow. We go over and look at some of our pitching on the season, man. Some of your wins leaders, Aaron Ashby's been pretty sure. Cam Schlittler's been filling in nicely. Chris Sale, obviously going to still be up there. 7 wins on the season. Schlittler actually with the best ERA right now of all pitchers with a 1.5. But Nick Martinez, this guy's been fantastic for the Tampa Bay Rays, hitting 151. Sale out of 181. It's been pretty solid. You're not going to see a single Rockies player on here. I'm just don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but that's not going to be here. Yamamoto getting 8 quality starts, sneaking in there. Sale with 9 quality starts. A little bright spot for KC, hasn't been great, but watch him in 9 quality starts, one of the top in the league. He's been pretty solid this year. Skeens is obviously doing his thing as well. Gonna be looking like another fun baseball season, like what I'm seeing though from some teams. And again, we're getting some great parity. We're gonna have some mainstays of the MLB postseason, but some new guys up here. I didn't mention Bryce Elder, also of Atlanta, been having himself a good season. 1.97 ERA. Taking a look at some of our K leaders, man. It's great bullpen depth from Milwaukee. Mizorowski with 100 strikeouts on the season. Dylan Cease, man. Blue Jays are, when he's out there, man, those have been some of the best Blue Jay games, man. He's been, the ERA could use some work, but man, he's got a nice repertoire there. Strikes a lot of people out. But as we're seeing, like the guys that get a lot of strikeouts, it can be their ERAs are a little bit higher. It's just tougher to challenge those batters like that. It's just such a talented batting class there. Well, folks, it's a great day talking sports. with everyone. Good to be back on the mic. That's gonna do it for the show today, though. But I will be back every Wednesday, and we'll hopefully have some guest co-hosts with me. Maybe DJ Blaze, for those of you familiar. Trying to get Chicken Little to come back every now and again. So maybe H Train will jump on the mic every now and again and bless us with some of his sports knowledge. But it was good to be back. Thank you all so much for watching. A big shout out to Work Simple, Jersey Mike's, and Dunkin' Donuts for making this possible. This is the Final Timeout here on Military Broadcast Radio. Until next time, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.